Hi guys, welcome back to Doobrey's Day. Today on Doobrey's Day, we're going to start making our first sword. Let's go. So we've got two projects on the go, and this might be over a couple of weeks, we don't know yet, but we are going to attempt our first swords. So I've dug out some 1075 steel. It's very bright out here. So here's my 1075 steel. And I've dug out my sword from my martial arts, which I'll show you in a second. The idea is that we're going to replicate that sword in that steel. Let me show you the sword. So this is my sword. I've written down the dimensions of it. It's a training sword, so it's made out of, I think it's aluminium, so it's very, very light. But I want to make it a cutting blade out of the 1075 steel. So I've taken all the dimensions off of the sword, and I can give those to you in a moment. But what I want to do is, I don't know how this 1075 steel is going to move around. So I'm going to cut a small piece off here at the end, and I'm going to forge it down and forge it long and forge it flat to see how it moves really. Because we do know that the length of the sword is just under 92 centimeters. And we want to make sure that this moves appropriately. The second project, which is in parallel, is Mini Doobs, which is over here. He's now got a piece of mild steel, and he's going to try and forge out a simple blade using the mild steel. So it's upside down Mini Doobs. You just want to turn it over for a moment, just for the video. So we've measured out sort of 5 centimeters for the tip. We measured out the habaki, I believe it's called, a spacer here. And then we've got a guard, and then we've got a integrated handle. So what Mini Doobs is going to try and do, he's going to try and forge this flat this way. So at the moment it's about 8 millimeters thick. We need it to be about 5 millimeters thick on one side, and on the blade side, which will be this side, it needs to be about 3 mil. So we're going to forge it flat. We're going to try and forge it out to see how it moves up and down as well. This is nearly the right width, but we do need to have a little play on that. So Mini Doobs will update you on his project. I'll update you on my project. Let's get that forge on, and let's do this. So I know I can potentially get 2 blades out of this, but I want to cut this little bit section off here. I can then figure out how thick it's going to be, how far I can forge it. If I forge it this way, what will happen? So I've got no idea. This is my first attempt at a big blade. So we've got our portable bandsaw. We're going to pop this on. We're going to get this cut through and then get it into the forge. Turn the other one on. So that was quite a good experiment. So on my piece of 1075 steel, I tried a couple of methods to get the profile of the blade. You can see it's not too bad there, and that was done by hand hammering. So I think the technique I'm going to use is hand hammering. Yeah, I've got a bit of warp in it, but this is a bit of a test. And I went back to mild steel to try and work on how I would create a point. And as you can see, I got a half decent point. Again, a slight curve in it, but I started to forge it out. And if I just zoom back a little bit, and the profile looks pretty good as well. So I know we're going to do that. Mini Doobs, as you saw, was working on his blade. So he's put his handle in, and he's made a little transition here. He said he's going to tidy this up with files or the grinder or something similar. And at this end, he started to forge out his tip and started to forge out the side and the cutting side of the blade. If you can turn it over, Mini Doobs. So this side is still quite thick, which is as you would expect. And then on the other side, he's starting to thin it out. So you can see that's just a few mil thick there. And he started on this end. He did it by hand hammer. He tried it on the power hammer and it wasn't so good. So we're going to hand hammer at the bevel, so I guess a traditional way of doing it. So that's it for our kind of experiment playing with the swords, and we'll continue to work on these and record it, and then we'll push it all together into one video. Yeah, that's it for this week. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week on Doobrey's Day. Cheers then.
Bye.
Bye.